about the things that we used to do. And then I wonder why I'm standing here missing you. No doubt we had some good times, you and I, but now it's time to start a new chapter in my life. Even though we've grown so far apart, you know that you will always be deep within my heart.
What's up, people? Welcome to another edition of CuzWeKin at the Open Bar, the Sports Talk edition. I'm your boy Connoisseur Big U. Thanks for coming to chop it up with me for a while. Today we're going to talk about NBA free agency, the moves that were made since June 30th, and what moves could possibly be made moving forward, and how that's going to shape the face of the league. So, if you haven't already, pour yourself a drink, because it's no fun drinking alone. Hang out with your boy for a minute, and we're going to talk about some basketball. All right, so I'm going to go through some of the more notable moves made around the league. Not going to go through all of them because that would take all day. And if you like me, you ain't got all day. So let's start with the Lakers at the top of the list. So the Lakers picked up Anthony Davis. They traded Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Josh Hart over to New Orleans to pick up Anthony Davis. I think that was a good move for the Lakers. I'm not surprised that he went there. He had been talking for probably a month now about his desire to go over to the Lakers. I think he even almost got a tampering charge, or he got fined or something like that from some statements he was making about wanting to go to that team. So I'm not surprised about that. I'm sure LeBron is happy, but usually LeBron's super teams, the stars come in threes. So I'm waiting to see moving forward in the rest of the summer what other big free agent signing they're going to make. There's not a lot of guys left because you're going to hear, moving forward in this video about a lot of the other moves that it makes. So a lot of those big names have been swept up. So the Lakers got AD, and I think that'll definitely make them a contender. Speaking of the contenders, everybody was talking about the Warriors' run is over, but they managed to kind of retool a little by picking up D'Angelo Russell and Shabazz Napier from the Brooklyn Nets. And I think that was a big move for them. D'Angelo Russell is a very talented scorer and a very, very talented combo guard. And same thing, Shabazz Napier, he might not be a top-level player, but as far as scoring, moving the ball, and all of that kind of stuff is concerned, I think he's very, very, very gifted in that area. And the Warriors, the way that their offense moves, will be able to use both of these players to make way and to build up on what they've been doing with the players that they lost. Clay is out, KD's gone. I'll get into that next where he went. And Andre Iguodala also left, and that goes into the KD move. KD ended up going to Brooklyn. Everybody, I'm sure, knows that. So you got KD and Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn Nets. And so what does this do for this team? Do you guys think that this makes them immediate contenders? Are they in championship contention with the pickup of one of the greatest players in the league in KD, one of the top 5, and then probably in that next level down under that, picking up Kyrie Irving? What does that do for them? Let me know in the comments what you think. If you're a Brooklyn fan, or not one of these brand new Brooklyn fans, because it seems to me like everybody's I knew it, Brooklyn, knew they was gonna be good. I was Brooklyn and blah blah blah. It's like that Brooklyn Nets team, the fans are as gentrified as the neighborhoods in Brooklyn. It's like we got a lot of transplant New Yorkers and stuff lining up to become fans of this new team. But no shade and no hate. Everybody knows I'm a Knicks fan to the death, so I'ma rep them always. But no shade and no hate on Brooklyn. Their front office made some marvelous moves from the beginning to show that they were serious about acquiring talent and moving whoever they needed to move, paying whoever they needed to pay to put people in place to put that team in a position to win, which they did, making the playoffs last year. And now, KD and Kyrie saw that, and I'm sure that's kind of what convinced them to make that move. Because from what I'm hearing, KD and Kyrie, they didn't even meet with the Knicks. It's like they pretty much talked to each other, decided they wanted to play together, and said, look, where are we going to go? Boom, we're going to into Brooklyn, because that team is set up now better than what it looked like across the water at the Garden. Again, I'm a Knicks fan diehard, but can't knock him. I love KD. Think he's a great player. Hope he fully recovers. But you know, to the victor go the spoils, and the Nets definitely are the victors in those free agent moves. But moving forward, like I said, does that make them contenders? You let me know. Okay, so that lineup next season is not going to look the way that people are thinking. The KD, Kyrie lineup, and that lineup is somewhere down the line. So next season, what we're looking at probably is Kyrie at the 1. You know, that's the big signing that everybody was talking about. Then you got Caris LeVert, Taurean Prince, Joe Harris, and DeAndre Jordan, another free agent pickup that played with the Knicks last season. So all of the, yay, you know, Brooklyn is going to win the chip. You tell me, you know, in the comments below if you think that that starting lineup that I just mentioned for you, Caris LeVert, Kyrie Irving, Taurean Prince, Joe Harris, and DeAndre Jordan, Nets in the championship, you let me know. I don't think so. Another big trade that went down was Mike Conley going from Memphis to the Utah Jazz. For those who are familiar with Mike Conley, he is probably the heart and soul of that Memphis team. Their point guard, all-star level, has been solid throughout his career. And alongside Marc Gasol, who ended up leaving, you know, earlier, going over to the Raptors, winning the chip with Kawhi Leonard, those were pretty much the heart and soul of that team. So Mike Conley now is going to Utah, and in return, Memphis got Jay Crowder and Kyle Korver. They got one more player, but those are the two notable players that they picked up. You know, I don't think that's an even trade, but maybe they were thinking he was going to just leave anyway in free agency, so they wanted to get something for him, so they let him go for those guys. But I think that this does make Utah more interesting because with you know, Donovan Mitchell over there, pretty formidable point guard. They can run dual guards. They both combo guards. I'm sure they'll be able to play off each other, so that makes Utah a little more interesting. You know, so people are making teams with all of this super team talk, what they always get into with the Warriors. You know, the Warriors are a super team, so other teams have to make, which I always argue against that. So like I said before, you know, broken record, Klay Thompson, Draymond, and Steph Curry were not a super team. Adding KD, you know, if you want to say it was a super team after that, maybe that, but those first three guys that they had before adding KD, not a super team. So, but everybody's trying to just piece together as much talent as they can everywhere. And it's funny because what it seems like it's doing is reshuffling the deck and then spreading the talent into other places. Because I don't see anybody that's a clear, you know, favorite, a clear pick to win. If the Warriors were healthy again, I would say I picked them to win again. But with no Klay Thompson for probably a majority of the season, even though they did pick up D'Angelo Russell, so you know they lost Iguodala. So we got to see next year where the cards fall and see what happens then. So another pretty big move, I guess, would be Kemba Walker moving from Charlotte over to the Boston Celtics. So they lose Kyrie, and that does leave a void in their offense, leadership, and things of that nature. But adding Kemba Walker kind of shores that up. And they also add Enes Kanter, who, like, once a Knick, always a Knick. So, you know, go Knicks, props to Enes. Offensive rebounder, monster on the boards, and very hard to defend on the offensive end of the court as a big man. So adding Kemba and Enes, even though they lost Kyrie Irving, what do you guys think that does for Boston? You know, I'm one that's inclined to think that it kind of, again, it shuffles some talent around, but it leaves them in the same place they were last year, and in last year they weren't very formidable. You also have D Rose signing with the Detroit Pistons. Now, props to D Rose, because I'm not gonna lie, I thought his career was finished. He had got injured. He was a really explosive player that relied a lot on his athletic ability to get different places on the floor. He drove to the basket a lot. He didn't shoot that much. The league is moving to, you know, a place where I thought that his skill set would be good, but he seemed to be getting injured over and over. So I thought that, you know, especially, again, with the Knicks, when I saw him on the Knicks, I saw him have some decent games, but it looked like he was on his way out. And, you know, fast forward to Minnesota, last season, this guy has a 50-point game. But again, you know, that begs the question there, like I spoke of before. You got all of these everybody's getting 50. So is it that the league is getting to a state where, you know, if you're a skilled player, and Derrick Rose is skilled, he gets to the basket, he finishes well, very explosive, kind of put me in the mind of Russell Westbrook. Kind of puts me in the mind of Russell Westbrook, where he's very explosive, except he doesn't finish over the rim as much as he used to. But you know, he went to the Pistons, so that's a good pickup for them. I guess more of a good pickup for D Rose in elongating an already impressive NBA career. Again, props to that guy, and finding the fountain of youth or a way to renew, to elongate his career. You know, props to him. Another notable trade was Evan Turner from Portland to Atlanta. So they traded Evan Turner from Portland to Atlanta for Kent Bazemore. I think both of those guys are very similar, and that's one of those things where, you know, maybe one or both of those guys might have outlived their usefulness in their situations where they just want to see if another player will work, because Kent Bazemore solid on offense, solid on defense. He can probably stretch the floor a little better than Evan Turner, but both of them decent slashers, finishers, combo players. They can dish the ball, they play defense and do things of that nature. So I think that you know, both teams neither lose nor benefit from the trade. To me, it's just shuffling players around. We had Jimmy Butler, who was one of the more highly coveted free agents, going to the Miami Heat. And this was a deal with a bunch of players moving all around. The big players that move is Jimmy Butler went to the Heat. Hassan Whiteside ended up in Portland. But Myers Leonard also went to the Heat with Jimmy Butler. But Josh Richardson went to the Sixers. Mo Harkless went to the Clippers. You have players bouncing all around the place to make this deal a reality. But they worked it out. So Jimmy Butler is now a Miami Heat. So I guess that makes their team a little more interesting, because they had a real scrappy, they had a very good team already. They were a little bit offensively challenged, but adding Jimmy Butler does shore that up a little. But losing Hassan Whiteside, what does that do to your defense? So again, like I said, we shuffling people around. So, you know, we'll see. You still got some guys out there though. You know, the biggest fish out there is Kawhi Leonard. He still hasn't said where he's planning to go. There are talks that it's going to be an LA team. It'll either be the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron, or the LA Clippers with Doc Rivers and that system they're building over there. They got Jerry West overseeing their basketball operations, the mastermind. So, you know, to me, if he goes to play with LeBron, I think that's kind of a corny move, but I wouldn't knock him with the way that the league is structured right now. The players have control, and they're doing whatever makes them happy. So if you want to go to a team, you know, LeBron and AD are already there, which you could arguably say are two of the top 5 players in the league, and then you want to add Kawhi to that. What that would do, in my opinion, was just, you know, finish up the trifecta that LeBron gets, it seems, everywhere he goes. Like, you know, it's him and 2, you know, people that could possibly down the line be Hall of Famers or something like that. They all end up playing together, and then he'll be in the finals or whatever, and they'll say, look what LeBron did, ignoring that he's playing with AD and Kawhi if they go there. LeBron made them better, LeBron blah, blah, blah. But, like I always say, I don't want to turn it into a LeBron bashing session, because I know the LeBronites will line up outside my house with picket signs and shit like that, calling me a LeBron hater. But, you know, it is what it is, man. It's just, you got narratives going on in the league that make no sense. You got a lot of talent in the NBA. I say it's not as physical as it used to be, and I was more a fan of the physicality, but the skill level of the players these days is through the roof. And I just don't think with all of these players in the league, with all of this skill, that the way that they just try to, you know, LeBron is the Brad LeBron. His numbers are not any outrageous numbers more than anybody else. You got Russell Westbrook averaging triple doubles. You got other players. But I'm digressing, and that's usually what happens when you're drinking. So let me get back to the free agency market. And even though talking about LeBron is talking about the free agency market, because the way that they're structuring this Laker team is a perfect example of the control that the players have in this new free agent market. So back in the day, you know, the execs get together, they talk about who they want to move, they decide what they want to do, and they say, you know, we think this and this guy will be a good fit for our team. They send agents out, they contact their agents, they send scouts out, and they talk to people. Boom, this is the A&Rs or whatever the position is called. You know, again, I've been drinking, so the exact name, but they send their talent people out, and they meet with these guys and they bring them in. But nowadays, the players are saying, look, me and my guy such and such, like in the case of KD and Kyrie, we want to play here, man. So it's not even about making a bunch of meetings with teams trying to see, because they know what they want. They're telling teams, this is what we want. If you're willing to give this to us, you can pretty much, you know, sign on the dotted line, and we coming to play for you. So this is what's going on, and that's kind of what happened to the Lakers. The Lakers traded away some of their better players to get AD, who was a phenomenal player, so I had no issue with that. But then they released probably most of the roster. I think they had about 5 guys still under contract so that they could shuffle around the salaries to fit this super team, which is not going to be labeled super, and any success they have is going to be credited to King James. So, you know, we'll see what's going on. I be drinking. So, with all the moves that I just discussed in the free agency, the free agent market so far, so what do you guys think? As far as shifting the power in the league, does AD and LeBron in LA make them a shoo-in, you know, to be in the finals out of the West? I don't think so. You still got Houston. You still got Portland. You still got Denver. You still got the Warriors, even though they're going to be injured. They retooled some talent. You still got too many teams over there, I think, to just jump and think because some moves were made. With, again, Brooklyn, the moves that they made, signing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, does that make them perennial favorites to be in the Eastern Conference Finals? I don't think so. You still got Milwaukee. You still have that Toronto team. Even though I think Kawhi is going to leave, he hasn't left yet. So until he vacates and goes somewhere else, those guys still look good on the East. You know, I think that, again, a lot of players were shuffled up. A lot of talent has been moved around. You know, with the Mike Conley move, does that make Utah a contender? You know, again, I don't know, because a lot of talent in the league, to me, that just makes for parity. And if you can't just say this team is going to definitely win, I think that makes it more entertaining for the viewers like you and I. And we get to watch basketball and kind of just enjoy the basketball and not just be like, this is a waste of time because we know such and such a team is going to win. So you have you still have some really high level talent left in the free agent market. 2 of the more notable people are of course the big fish, Kawhi Leonard, and you still have DeMarcus Cousins, which, depending on which DeMarcus will show up for this coming season, could be somebody that could really tilt the scale for a team, or may show up and be very spotty like he was in the finals and not really do much. So again, like I said, I just think that the talent has been shuffled around the league. It should be an interesting season this year. Parity is back in basketball because I can't pick a definite favorite. Like if somebody told me bet the house on a team, I think I would just hold on to my house because there's nobody who's going to definitely win this year. So, you know, let me know what you guys think. Let me know who the front runners are in the Eastern and Western Conference in you guys' opinion. And, you know, and we're going to wrap it up. Oh, yeah. Before we finish, I know you had to notice that from a diehard Knicks fan, they were curiously absent from the video, from me talking about their moves in free agency. So what I'm going to do is in my next video, I'm going to devote a whole video to the free agency moves that the Knicks made recently, how I feel about what it did, about us missing out on some of the bigger players. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, the Knicks are done because they missed out on KD or AD or Kyrie or whomever, but I have a different take on it. Check out my next video to see what that is. And as always, mellow. Look, free agency begun June 30th. You got plenty of time to sit back, cue up some Carmelo highlights, see what the man could do, and get on that phone and offer him some moolah, money, dividends, greenbacks, bills, all of the above. Add him to your team, guaranteed straight to the finals. Straight to the finals. I've been drinking, but you know what they say. People that be drinking, they tell the truth. Mellow, the missing piece to your dynasty. Holla at the boy. But like I say always, thanks for coming and kicking it with me, hanging out with your boy Big U, CuzWeKin Connoisseur. Cuz we can, many cannot. Holla at you. See y'all later. Peace.
I think about the things that we used to do, and then I wonder why I'm standing here missing you. No doubt we had some good times, you and I, but now it's time to start a new chapter in my life.